welcome back to Fallen Angels channel. You guys are my angels, and you've fallen into my channel. And listen, this is 2 videos now. My last 2 videos are age restricted. I thought the last one I was going to make up for it and have less risque stuff, you know, with the girls. But I got hit with another age restriction anyway, because what I thought was shorts when I originally put the girl on, she was butt naked, it was body paint, so they hit me. So that's why I'm making another video, and I'm making it to where I looked and I made sure that nobody wearing body paint. I shouldn't get hit for this, and you guys should be able to watch it, because you guys are mostly in the 13 to 17 age bracket group. I appreciate you guys. You guys are making my other video viral 3 videos ago, and I made an account where I was only 15. I made it quick just to see what would happen, and the video comes up. You push it, and it's a black screen saying you can't watch it. You know, anytime, like someone my age, you know, or my fiance's age, if she wants to look at it, it'll say, "You sure you want to watch it? It's sensitive content." Yes, and it just moves on. But like and subscribe if you do like this stuff that I'm doing, because I am original. No one has done it before me. You know, I'm a mirror, so I keep pointing that way. Done that where while I'm doing the TikTok, reaction, there's also the girls 24/7 in all the video doing something, looking sexy for you guys. So like and subscribe, and I'm gonna put it on right now for you.
When all of a sudden it changed its path, causing a lot of concern as to was it really a meteor. If you haven't seen the video, take a look at this. Take a look at it right there. Watch carefully what it does. It changes path. Here it is closer. Take a look at that. It changes path. And here's a thermal image of it. I freeze framed it and blew it up as best as I could. As you can see, it's got a trail, but what is the dot in the corner up there? That was kind of guiding it. In watching it again, as you can see, it's coming straight down and then just changes course. Coming straight down and changes course.
Oh yeah, that
this
does
is
go
leaving
on.
a lot of experts that have seen the video to question, was it a meteorite? Was it a comet? Or was it something we should be concerned about? Think about it. With all the talk of Three-Eye Atlas and everything that's going on in space, do you think this is something we need to be concerned about? What are your thoughts as to what that was flying over Mexico? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
So you know,
I want to know your guys' comments and thoughts too. So make sure you put them down below, because that looked like it was something. And Three-Eye Atlas, they said, could be something else. You know, aliens. And so let me know what you guys think.
Bach, right? One of the most famous composers of all time. Well, he died in a really weird way, and not enough people talk about the dude that killed him. This is John Taylor, an eye surgeon from the 1700s, and the word surgeon is a very loose term here. He was pretty much the most fitting description of a quack, and he would go from town to town offering his eye surgeries to cure blindness and bad eyesight. He would deck out his wagon in advertisements and perform these surgeries in the public town square in front of an audience. Then he would dip out the next day and head on over to the next town before anyone could complain about the results. Well, one of his patients ended up being Johann Sebastian Bach, who had not only 1 but 2 surgeries by him, which left him completely blind. It also didn't help that this was all before anesthesia, and John's post-care medicine included laxatives and draining the patient's blood out. Bach wrote and performed his final piece of music after he was completely blind, and he died a few months later from the infection. And the crazy part is that John also operated on another famous composer, George Friedrich Handel, who also died a year later after one of his...
Switzerland might be the only country on this earth that's prepared for the end of the world, y'all. Got over 370,000 bunkers.
Exactly.
Enough for their whole population. Hello, every citizen there gotta have a bunker. So it ain't no just billionaires getting in. It ain't no lottery you gotta win. It's guaranteed for every citizen to have a bunker. They got tunnels underneath their mountains with blast doors as big as houses, y'all. Y'all know how fucking big that is? Sonnenberg Tunnel is built to house over 20,000 people, y'all. It got its own hospital in there. It got food. It got water. Everything. You name it. So as of right now, most people are using these bunkers as storage or as a wine cellar. But by law, these bunkers gotta stay ready. As of right now, with the world on edge, Switzerland is dropping millions to upgrade these bunkers right now. I don't know if y'all understand. If something was to go down while the rest of the world is panicking, running around and shit, trying to find somewhere to go, Switzerland, they chilling because if it hit the fan, they gonna go right to the bunker because everybody has a spot. Switzerland built their plan for the end of the world, but where's yours or mine?
What are the
Switzerland is awesome. Awesome. We have $32 trillion of an underground world, and only the elites are allowed to go down there. We don't even know how to get there, where to go. Switzerland's got a bunker for every single person they have on their roster in their country. That is amazing. Too bad they couldn't do the same for us. Well,
chances that
sorry.
they raid his house and he's not there, but his sons are there? And then all the tapes that they had, and in court they said there's other celebrities that were on those freak-off tapes. Who are the celebrities?
Do you think there was a freak off?
Yes. Sure. Because there's other celebrities involved. It's not, he's a small cog in the wheel. When it comes to him...
But why not expose that? They didn't...
They exposed themselves. That's the thing. That's the whole point. Like, they didn't go in there to go find shit. They went in to go there to go confiscate some shit.
Believe that.
The feds went in there to go get those tapes, and whoever called the shots, hey, I'm on those tapes too. Go get that fucking tape right now. Because he has X, Y, and Z. He has me doing this, and this, and that. There's way worse shit than what we can even fathom.
You think they have all the tapes?
Yes. I do.
That's why he's being punished. Because they have all the tapes. He has no leverage.
Yeah. So he's in
And
jail
you think
now.
it all jumps back to what he, as far as the company that he was dealing with, with the alcohol, that's all because of that?
I think they knew what he was doing, so they used that as leverage to lock him up, show him like, hey, you know, that's the real power.
Well, he dropped the case.
He did, but here's the thing, they know. So doesn't mean he can't come back. He can come another way. Like, did he, you know, he has some underworld ties. So I'll get you before.
CIA operative Ramirez, he's the one who brought this information to light. They're all coming in 2027. Long story short is they said we weren't ready. And he said the recent disclosures, whistleblowers and underwater discoveries are all part of an intentional narrative to prepare the population for the day the aliens show up. We're kind of preparing the US population, at least, and that by extension the world population, to that reality. That there is a presence here and that we need to explain the presence, because if they showed up and we continue to do what we did before in previous decades, there would be mass panic. The reference to previous decades presumably refers to the policy of denial. In many ways, I think the word got out within the government that they're showing up in 2027. We better be prepared. I've heard 2027 in a kind of an official capacity. The people in the government that are aware of something happening and that there is limited time and there's only a few more years to prepare the people, so they're not so panicky.
Even that screams of just a Project Bluebeam 2.0.
Correct.
Like, if you really wanted to create fear, you would keep that information between the five of us, for example.
Yeah, but why
and
would
you'd say, hey, we're going to tell everyone that there's aliens coming.
Yeah.
And we spread that straight out, and it's disinformation
Yeah.
that everyone believes is real.
And then it does come.
And then it comes.
And it ends up being Project Bluebeam.
Yeah.
You guys, we have incredible archaeology news. And it's perfect because it's October, and mythical beasts and legendary monsters kind of go hand in hand with spooky month. So let's break down this new find, because my name is Dr. Tenendra Kellenberger, and I bring the ancient world to you. Now, a few weeks ago, in the realm of archaeology news, new reports were coming out about Lamassu being rediscovered at the ancient site of Nineveh. And to be completely honest, these were the only
Sumerian.
photos released. You can kind of see a little bit of the Lamassu in relief here, but I've been dying for more photos, and ask and you shall receive, because archaeologists who are still excavating excavating the site released that they discovered 15 Lamassu and more in this Assyrian military palace. Nineveh in the
Assyrian.
archaeological record is also referred to as Tel Nabi Yunus, and these new structures, including the Lamassu, date to the reign of 3 great Neo-Assyrian kings. Get your king lists out because these date to the reigns of Sennacherib, Esarhaddon, and Ashurbanipal. And 12 of the 15 Lamassu that have been
Ashurbanipal is where they
excavated
got
are
that
actually found
library
in situ, meaning
from.
they were found in their original position. And for those wondering, what is a Lamassu? Well, they are mythical and legendary beasts in Mesopotamia. They are made up of a human head, the body of a bull, and the wings of an eagle. And they can be viewed as guardians or protectors, but they also do share ties to kingship. Such a cool find. I love Lamassu. And if you're looking for more on legendary beasts, come explore the Tomb of Cerberus with an archaeologist on the newest episode of the Dirt Diaries podcast. We're breaking down where archaeology meets mythology.
5 signs you have a clogged artery and don't know it. Clogged arteries often develop silently, but your body leaves clues. Here are 5 warning signs. Number 1, chest pain or tightness. If your chest feels heavy or squeezed, especially during activity, it could mean reduced blood flow to your heart. Number 2, leg pain when walking. Pain or cramping in your calves or thighs that eases with rest may signal peripheral artery disease. Number 3, numbness or weakness. If blood can't reach certain areas, you may feel tingling or weakness, especially in your arms or legs. Number 4, shortness of breath. Clogged arteries make your heart work harder, leaving you breathless after mild effort. Number 5, erectile dysfunction in men. Poor blood flow to small arteries can appear here before showing up in the heart. Your arteries don't clog overnight. They narrow slowly, often without obvious symptoms, until it's almost too late. So if these signs sound familiar, don't ignore them. Get checked early. Comment yes if you're interested, and share this video if you found it helpful.
On April 25, 2007, a 25-year-old German police officer named Michel was on patrol with a 22-year-old named Martin in Heilbronn, Germany. The day had been pretty uneventful, so with nothing else going on, the two decided to post up in the corner of a nearby park's parking lot. What neither of them knew, however, was that they had just become targets, because just minutes later, an armed individual approached their car from the back and opened fire, shooting both officers in the head. A taxi driver eventually noticed the aftermath of this crime and reported it to the authorities almost immediately. Surprisingly, when first responders arrived, they found both officers lying outside the car. Later investigation revealed that their service weapons and handcuffs were missing, suggesting the assailant must have stolen them from the car, which would also explain why the two were outside. Miraculously, despite being shot in the head, Officer Martin managed to survive the encounter after numerous surgeries and being in a coma for 4 weeks. Unfortunately, the incident resulted in total amnesia regarding the attack, leaving the investigators with no direct leads to follow. But just as they were about to lose hope, investigators discovered a DNA sample from the perpetrator in the patrol car's dashboard. However, what should have been the key to solving the case...
A shocking report found that the U.S. government agency, who claims to have used nearly $2 billion to create just 14,000 jobs, actually spent all their money in these suspiciously weird ways. A months-long investigation by the Ohio News traced these unusual spending numbers to a government-created entity known only as Jobs Ohio. When the journalists tried to dig deeper to understand why they spent so much money and were only able to create so few jobs, things got interesting. As it turns out, Jobs Ohio operates as a private corporation, meaning that they're not required to disclose any of their official spending, despite being fully funded through public state revenue. But the team were able to obtain a few public records, and what they found confirmed their suspicions, as throughout the past year, Jobs Ohio paid out $8 million to undisclosed international entities. Over $100 million were sent to, quote, consultants, and $430 million were given as grants to large corporations, with the rest totaling up to $1.3 billion, mostly on account.
Sure, you can get a job, but if you can't live on what you make, what good is the job?
True.
You make about $5 or $10 today, and tomorrow you just looking for a job and stay on the street looking for a job. You don't got no job another day. But what do the local people supposed to do? We live anywhere. In a tent, under a shade tree, under a river bridge. We drink water out of a creek or anywhere we can get it. 5 or 6 families drink out of one cup, a tin can, or anything else. We're blamed. We tolerate that stuff. If we stick together and say we won't do it, we won't pick your chairs until you give us The restrooms in the field for the ladies, some for the men, and some water fit to drink. We won't pick them. We get them.
The fruits of the earth must be harvested to feed and sustain mankind.
Have you wished for more picking?
The inside of Karnak Temple is the temple of Ptah and Sekhmet, and this is a statue of Sekhmet. Sekhmet was the wife of Ptah, but I want to show you somebody else took a photo.
Another name for him.
Something random appeared in the photograph.
Okay.
It's quite interesting. And keep in mind, this is Ptah and
Thoth
Sekhmet.
is Ningish Zeta.
Okay, so
Ra,
This is a
Murdoch.
photograph of the same statue.
that blurry person in front.
That blurry thing that showed up on the photo.
Is it there? Is it, or is it just?
No, this is not something that was actually physically in the room.
Wow.
This is somebody taking photos.
So that's not. That looks like a person walking in front of the camera.
That looks like Ptah, the wife of Sekhmet. And interesting, when I showed you the images before of Ptah, and he's standing there with the Jed pillar, whenever you see the Jed pillar, he holds it about chest level, and if you look at about chest level, you see all that weird wavy stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like a vibration or frequency coming from that point.
Here's some maps that are going to change the way you see the world. Apparently, New York is the only state besides Hawaii where 100% of people live on an island, where the majority of people live on an island. Technically, we all live on an island in some form. This map reveals the best and worst places to live in the United States when dealing with natural disasters. I was born in Riverside County in California, which is just pure red. Thank you, earthquakes. And now I live in Jacksonville, Florida, where it's a tiny little red mark there. So, of course, I just love to live in all the places that have disasters, apparently. It says some of the best places to live are New England and Ohio. So shout out to y'all. I didn't know that you can travel south from somewhere in Arkansas and get into every state that it borders, including the northern state. This map shows the number of 100-degree days on record since the 1900s. I'm shocked that Miami and Tampa have had one, maybe two more recently. I think there was one. It just gets so hot in Florida, but it doesn't actually get temperature hot. Los Angeles having 71 days does not make sense to me because oh, you know what? Okay. That's like downtown Los Angeles. I'm thinking the San Fernando Valley gets 100 all the time. Phoenix, I have nothing to say to you.
Ethics and morality are the two things you can never delegate to somebody else. You can't give it away, you can't assign it. And I've heard so many people say you give them everything you got and let them decide what to do with it. Wrong. Okay? So in the intel business, there's a lot of people when they find out, oh, you can do this like in a psychic way and nobody will know. And they look at you really weird when you say, did you bring your warrant with you? It's like, what? Nobody's gonna know. Yeah, but it's an American citizen. I need a warrant.
There's a reason why all those rich folks live like right on the ocean. They're not stupid.
Yeah. So,
I rented a house once in Malibu. We were getting our kitchen redone in California, and we couldn't stay in the house. So for like 4 months, we rented a house. And we rented this house like on the water. And you wake up and you sit in the patio, and it's this sliding glass doors, and you're literally right above the ocean. So you see nothing but this little balcony and then water. And you're like, oh, I get it. I wonder why these people live right next to each other in a $20 million house. Because I was like, who the fuck wants to buy a house with no yard? You're jammed up next to your neighbors. That's stupid. And then I got there one morning drinking coffee, sitting there by myself, smoking a joint. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's like buy a lot.
I get it.
It's like you can't.
I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I get it. I see what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is better. This is like you're watching a show and a work of art at the same time while you're taking in sunshine and fresh, clean air from the ocean. Night, it's a black monster. Night, when you realize, especially me, because, you know, I'm probably a little high at the time, and I'm looking out that water.
Abyss.
And I'm like, there is billions and trillions of gallons of water out there, and no one can control it. And all it takes is the earth just having this one little boop, one little shift of the tectonic plates, and a fucking wave is coming. You're right on the edge. How And I sleep like a log.
Yeah.
You know, like
If it's not,
something has to be done, bro. We can't just keep going along this path where hip hop is our only religion. It's not gonna work. It's not sustainable. Because I remember when you used to be able to hang out on any street in Chicago, man. People used to barbecue in the front. On the front lawn, people barbecuing. Now everybody got a duck and dodge. Like it's hard to have a good time. You know, everybody's expecting violence. And you know, bro, when I be in different countries, different cities and states, everybody not living like that. Everybody not living like that, man. I like it, bro. I like it because in Islam, it teaches you that, you know, you can't harm another Muslim brother. You see what I'm saying? So if all of the young guys become Muslims, that means what? The violence got to go down. You feel me? And I firmly believe that without Islam, there's no way that the old block guys would have even allowed the guy J Mane to even walk through them gates. You feel me? So, you know, I like it, bro. I salute that. I commend that. Salaamu salam to all the Islamic brothers and everybody who follow the faith. Shalom.
And the worst thing I think they did when they came up with how planets were coalescing and everything just happened by chance and bombardment, there was now no purpose to existence and life just happened by accident. So we don't have any responsibility towards anything except, you know, doing whatever we want. And since everything is by chance, you know, there is no purpose.
The three most feared outlaws of the Wild West. At number 3, Jesse James, a former Confederate soldier who flipped the script and became a straight-up outlaw. Robbing banks, trains, stagecoaches, anything with money inside. Always riding deep with his crew. He was cold-blooded, ruthless, and somehow still had fans. His robberies were sharp, planned down to the smallest detail, and he had Confederate supporters protecting him at every turn. To some, he was a hero. To others, the devil himself. Number 2, Billy the Kid, the fastest draw, slickest escape artist in the game. This kid lit up the Lincoln County War in New Mexico, where rival ranchers and gunmen turned the land into a battlefield. He gunned down at least 4 men in real shootouts, slipped out of jail more than once, and clowned the law every chance he got. To young rebels, he was the ultimate outlaw, untamed, wild, and fearless. And at number 1, John Wesley Hardin. This dude was pure chaos. He killed over 27 men, lawmen, sheriffs, rivals, anyone who stood in his way. Texas shook when Hardin walked into town. Ice in his veins, lightning in his draw. He carried himself like death in boots. Even after years behind bars, his legend only grew. A reminder that in the Wild West, fear was sometimes louder than justice. But here's the real question. Who was the greatest outlaw of them all? Jesse, Billy, or Hardin? Drop your pick in the comments.
The person who wrote the songs My Boyfriend's Back and I Want Candy was Bob Feldman, the father of actor Corey Feldman. In the early 90s, Blues Traveler frontman John Popper had a side project called the Trucking Company with his high school friend, Chris Barron. After John Popper left to join Blues Traveler full-time, Chris Barron turned that band into Two Prince's group, Spin Doctors. When Jimmy Page left the band The Yardbirds, he was hanging out with Keith Moon, the drummer for The Who, and told him about a new band that he was about to start. To mess with Jimmy Page, Keith Moon said that band sounded terrible and would probably go over like a Led Zeppelin.
There are interpretations of the mushroom cults and
Well, I mean, the most circulated, I mean, I don't know if you guys want to get into this, but the
Let's
most
get into it.
circulated Bible is the King James Version, right?
Right.
Is it New King James Version?
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that Bible got published by the Rothschilds, all right? Is that, you guys ready for that? They, like, own the publishing companies, and they, like, changed a whole bunch of stuff in the Bible.
Did they really?
Yeah, they, like, had some influence from some outside sources. And,
What?
I don't know if it's cloudy or dry.
If you're a career service officer, you would get more protection than you would if you're an asset. I mean, it's the assets who are disposable. Those are people who are recruited for a particular purpose. You're using them. And their survival is not as important as someone who is a GS-15, someone who is part of the organization. And there's that distinction. If you're an asset, I think people tend to confuse what's the difference between an intelligence officer. An intelligence officer is someone who has a rank and a position and a salary. They're a government employee. They are an assigned employee of a particular agency of a particular government. They're a real person in the view of that agency. Assets are the people who are recruited for a particular task. Usually it's for information, it can be so disinformation, it's for any kind of purpose, and they're just there as needed. They're like someone you hire to come in and install tile in your house or elsewhere. They do a job and then they're gone. You have no long commitment to them. You're perfectly friendly to them as long as you're there, out of common politeness. But you're going to pay them off, and they'll disappear. Or you'll kill them off, and it will disappear. If there's any problem about them talking about what they did otherwise. You know, the thing you never want to be in any situation, you should always look around for, is to be a loose end. And there's a particular, I go back to John Le Carre, and Spy Who Came In From the Cold, which is probably my favorite book in spy form. Particularly if you see the Richard Burton film, and there's a character, I won't go through the whole complicated plot in this, but it's all about keeping secrets, and there's one female character who gets involved in this. In many ways, she's just a perfect innocent, but she's put into it. But in the end of this, she has become a loose end. She knows way too much. There's no way she's going to survive. She will have to be killed. And the main character sacrifices himself for that as well. That's a spoiler of the film in this case, but that's it. But that was known from the beginning that would have to be the case. This person will be used, and then they will be discarded, and they will be eliminated. So I don't know. It's just more examples of lying and the human capacity or deceit. But you see, it's all for a greater cause, isn't it? Isn't that the thing? That's in fact what in the Spy Who Came In From the Cold thing, the head of British intelligence is telling him to begin with. It's all part of a greater cause. We may have to do unpleasant things, but you know, we're on the side of freedom. Okay?
We had that place under surveillance because we knew you were coming. And what had happened, I suspect, is that in 1998, me and someone were waiting at Marble Arch, the guy from Still in the World, to meet Kevin Hanley. Unbeknownst to us, and unbeknownst to Kevin at this point, they were all under surveillance, massive surveillance by the National Crime Agency or Soccer or whoever it was at that time, because they changed the name so frequently, I can't remember. It was called Operation Dreadnought. Huge. Without a shadow of a doubt, me and the guy from Still in the World had been seen at some point interacting with this lot, because we were going up there 2 or 3 times a week. I mean, there's no way that we weren't seen is just a physical impossibility. So Kevin is getting ready to come and see us. It's Friday night. We're sat on Marble Arch. We know he's on the way to us, and then we start not getting any response. He's not answering, and we're sat there, and the time's going by, and I'm starting to think there's something wrong. And I think it was the next day or the day after we found out that Kevin had been stopped half a mile from reaching us at Marble Arch with 29 kilos of cocaine. Pure cocaine straight from the Medellin cartel in the boot of his car. 2 years later, in 2000, May of 2000, like I said, I'm in the red transit van, and that was the crunch point.
What did they end up giving you in the end?
Well, after 6 days, I got remanded straight into Gloucester Prison. I get 5 years, sorry. That was the highest sentence out of all of us. They kept me on the book for about a year, which means that every time you come out of your cell, they write down every movement of where you go. All phone calls recorded. All letters photocopied, given to the police. Really invasive. Strip searched every day. Cell wrecked every day. It was like running into a brick wall at 100 miles an hour. Your life carried on, but you stopped. And, like, it's devastating.
How old were you at this point?
23-ish. I got transferred from Gloucester to Parkhurst, straight onto the Isle of Wight. It's like, a bit like being in Alcatraz. So...
A ton of cocaine, pure cocaine worth hundreds of millions, is smuggled into the United States. Sound familiar? Not the way this ton of cocaine got here. According to what the former head of the Drug Enforcement Administration told Mike Wallace, this drug shipment got here courtesy of what he calls drug trafficking by the CIA in partnership with the Venezuelan National Guard.
Let me understand what you're saying. A ton of cocaine was smuggled into the United States of America by the Venezuelan National Guard?
Well,
in cooperation with the CIA?
That's exactly what appears to have happened.
Until last month, Judge Robert Bonner was the head of the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA. And Judge Bonner explained to us that only the head of the DEA is authorized to approve the transportation of any illegal narcotics like cocaine into this country, even if the CIA is bringing it in.
Let me put it this way, Mike. If this has not been approved by DEA or an appropriate law...
This obsessed fan decided to send a letter bomb with sulfuric acid in it to this really famous artist because he found out that she was dating a black dude.
Really? This sounds super familiar.
Yes, you probably have heard of this. It's so interesting. This was in Florida in 1996 to this man named Ricardo Lopez. He became obsessed with this artist named Bjork.
Yeah, I know who Bjork is. Wow, really? This happened to Bjork?
Yes, and he was super obsessed with her, and the way he looked at her was that she was really innocent and pure. This guy became so in love with Bjork that he would record video diaries all the time, just talking about how much he loved her, what he loved about her.
Really?
Yes, all of these other details of just things that he really idolized of her.
And would he send her the videos?
No,
Oh,
he would
just keep
keep
them
them
for
to himself, and he recorded over 22 hours of footage of him just talking about Bjork. And it all changed one day when Bjork started to date this other artist named Goldie. He was this African-American artist, and he did not like that at all because he saw it as Bjork dating this guy. She became, these are his words, tainted and unpure. He came up with this plan where he was going to create a letter bomb and put sulfuric acid in it, and he was planning on mailing it to her and killing her with this bomb. So he wanted to ship it to her house in London at the time, and right after, he was planning on ending his own life as well. He said so they would be reunited together in heaven. On the fateful day, he ships it out and it goes in the mail. He goes and records his final video. He pulls out a gun and shoots himself on film. Then several hours after, police got called to go to this guy's apartment because I think a neighbor or somebody ended up hearing the gunshot. They go in there, they bust through the door. Then they find all his tapes. All 22 hours. Start going through them. As they're going through them, they end up finding the tape where he specifically talked about what he wanted to do to Bjork. They ended up going to like the post office in that area in Florida, and they ended up intercepting the bomb before it got to Bjork. Yeah, and then they defused it in like a safe location before it ended up getting to her. Wild.
Did she ever find out about...
She did. I was just going to tell you, yeah. So she ended up finding out, and I think she talked about it on an interview where she pretty much was just like, that is super terrifying, and I did not know that my fans far of like loving me, and that type of love is dangerous. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And she ended up like doubling her security at the time for her and her son. And yeah, bro, she was terrified.
Kamala's cursing like she's Richard Pryor.
Some level of concern and care is not just basic curiosity. And then these are out there doing national security secrets and war plans on signal. These
Kamala's just following the new Democrat playbook. More F-bombs and a little less trans. The only problem is Kamala's Mrs. DEI. She is addicted to the game. And then there's AutoPen, spotted at the Phillies game. Joe thought he was watching the Eagles. He brought bad juju, too. The Phils are about to get swept. As a great man once said, everything woke turns to shh. Trump says the left's an army of Ilhan Omars.
I look at your leadership, I don't know who to speak to. The Democrats have no leader. They remind me of...
The Great Pyramid is precise, and there's no reasons for these different chambers. And why are there copper rods going down into the aquifer, which is exactly the technology Tesla was using at Wardenclyffe Tower? You know, there's hydrochloric acid. We have evidence of that. And we've got the zinc sulfide, and it creates hydrogen atoms that go up the gallery. And then there's an opening that's exactly the right wavelength for hydrogen to flow through. And it resonates at 440 hertz, and it makes an F-sharp chord. Or, you know, maybe it's just a place for a dead guy. And then you look at the pyramids that were built later that we know were Egyptian built, and it's like the Temu version. It's like a mess. It's just a pile of rocks.
Yeah. Facial recognition is old news. The government just funded something far more terrifying, whole body recognition. It's a new AI called Farsight, and it can identify you from a drone over half a mile away just by the way you walk. It doesn't need to see your face. It analyzes your gait, your body shape, and then runs it through a database to find you. This is happening right now, developed by researchers at Michigan State University. And the most disturbing part, this technology is specifically designed to get around facial recognition bans. Cities can ban cops from using facial recognition, but this isn't facial recognition, this is a loophole. The project is funded by IARPA, the research arm of US spy agencies. Their goal is to put this on drones, watchtowers, or any high-altitude camera. They can already do it through atmospheric turbulence from a high angle when your face is completely obscured. It's no longer just about what you post online.
So you telling me this is what it's supposed to look like when they decide to close the motherfucking Lincoln Tunnel? Count me out. So not only is the Lincoln Tunnel underneath the Hudson River, but the Hudson River comes inside the tunnel also. Talk about being one with the river? I think not. Count me out. Like you ever heard of maintenance? Now when this motherfucker ain't leaking, it looks like it's a smooth ride through with no traffic. If you go in that motherfucker at the right time. This motherfucking tunnel stretches 1.5 miles underneath the Hudson River. You telling me there's no other route to get around this motherfucker? That I literally either have to sit in traffic if they decide to close it, or I have to go through it in the walk. And don't let it be a rainy day outside this motherfucker, because you might have a flood warning inside this motherfucker. Hope you got a life jacket or know how to swim. But for me, I'll take the scenic route. Count me out.
This is an interesting witness account. And listen to what he has to say. Listen to his tone, how serious he is, and I actually believe him. His name is Richie from Pennsylvania, and he thinks he's had an encounter with the leprechaun. Now, it was several years ago, and he's finally coming forward with his story. Like I said, a lot of people in his situation are now coming forward with their stories and are willing to share the weird, paranormal, supernatural things that they've encountered or experienced. Listen to what he has to say, comment below, tell me what you think.
2024. It's around 11:30, 11:45 at night. I get a FaceTime call from my mom. My mom doesn't live in the country, so every time she calls me, I make sure I answer. So I'm on the phone with her. We chopping it up. I was asking her how long was her flight and bullshit like that. She's like, "Oh, it's good. I'm in Alabama right now." I'm like, "Oh, all right. Well, tell my uncle." And then I said, "What's up?" At the same time, my doorbell goes off. Somebody pushes my doorbell. So I don't answer my doors. I go right to my cameras So I go to my cameras, like this thing right here, y'all. Like I can look at my cameras through that, and on my telephone. Like I said, I was on my telephone, so I went to the wall, and I was using the monitor. I didn't see nobody. I'm looking for like a person, you know, a regular sized person. I don't see nobody. Next thing I know, I look down and like to the left and to the right, and there is a man. This is not a man, y'all. I swear to God, on my kids, on my mama's life, there's a fucking leprechaun on my front steps. This nigga had on a suit coat, he had on pants, boots, and a fucking hat. My mom was like, who's that little man outside on your steps? I'm like, man, I don't know who this is, but he don't look right. So my uncle took the phone and was like, man, that look like a gnome. I said, a gnome? What the fuck is a gnome? I said, oh, okay, a gnome. I said, nah, this nigga ain't got no pointy hat. This nigga hat look like it's a fitted. I'm not lying to y'all.
This guy named Ajwa Kwesi, I'll never forget him, taught us about and I had Egyptology at the university, and I'm learning real shit from this guy. He was teaching us the real shit. Yeah. And so when I went to class, I was a problem for my professor. He was like, so in Egypt, I said, that's not the truth. I said, this is what happened. I said, the actual Nubians are the original Egyptians, except we guys were invaded there's Saudi Arabia, the Arabs came in, Greeks came in, it was a lot, and he was like, oh, well, we can't, I go, you're lying though. Yeah. You're lying about Egypt.
He kicked you out of class.
He hated me. I just had every right to say, but that's not the truth.
Right.
Africa's not the Middle East, it's North Africa. Right. It's Middle East is just, there's really no Middle East. Where's the Middle South? Where's the Middle North? Because if you look at Israel and all that, it's still connected to the landmass of Africa. Look at it. Mm-hmm. There's a point you can stand there, and it's still Africa. Of course, you had the continental drift, right, but it's still Africa. It's just a way to divide because you don't have anything to do with Africa. But all this accomplishment in Egypt, you want to claim it. Right. Because black people couldn't have possibly done that. And then my friends that say, oh, we did it. Like, I said, but you're not the right complexion to say you did it in that heat. You couldn't have handled that.
Right.
How?
Yeah, you would have had sunburn.
You would have been skin cancer. You couldn't have. And then they say aliens built the pyramids. Now we're aliens now.
One of the best Sinatra stories is that when he went to Australia, some feminist over there gave him a bad review because,
Of course she did.
Well, I mean, his lyrics were a little dated at that point, whatever.
Tell me dude.
No.
Oh, that would have been. That would have been nuts, dude.
I don't know if this story could top that. Tell me, dude. He called her a $3
at the show?
At the show, and then it got out. So the prime minister was saying, you have to apologize to her. And he's like, I'm not apologizing. So then they came back and said, if you don't apologize, we're not going to allow you to leave the country. So now he's holed up in his penthouse suite, and he says to his lawyer as he's pouring a drink, he goes, well, I'm not apologizing. So now what? And it was like the Cuban Missile Crisis. They were just sitting up there. They figured out some wiggle room where they would both be happy. And he ended up leaving, and then he came back. He's like, I'm never going back to that fucking piece of shit country again.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
He was mad. I'm sure he went.
Good morning. Anybody else get much sleep last night after watching that freaking interview? Because this one didn't. My brain hasn't shut off, okay? I have my thoughts and opinions. But after that interview, I think I'm going to start keeping certain thoughts and opinions to my daggone self. But I would like to highly advise anyone out there that watches this video, if you don't have certain training, I would highly advise you go find somebody to give you certain training, okay? Because I got a very strong feeling this ain't over. This was just the beginning. So, people need to start being situationally aware, okay? You need to start keeping your head on a swivel. I'm not saying walk around like a freaking ninja, but I am telling you, you need to be aware of your surroundings. You guys need to start become educated, because I'm going to tell you this whole thing does not matter. White, black, purple, polka dotted, gay, straight, it does not matter. They want us all gone. That is their whole religion, is to eradicate anyone who is not them. You might want to stay strapped or you're going to get clapped.
Okay guys, some pretty insane breaking news actually. You know those devastating wildfires that tore up LA earlier this year? Well, police have just arrested a 29-year-old man who they believe, quote, maliciously started those fires, which ultimately led to the death of dozens of people and the destruction of thousands of homes. In fact, the estimated cost of the damages and the capital loss is up to $130 billion. Imagine being responsible for starting that. Well, this is the man. Now his name, pre-warning it's German, is Jonathan Rinderknecht. And officials said that they seized extensive digital evidence, including an image that he generated on ChatGPT depicting a burning city. Yeah, he got that. So a criminal complaint also says that he's going to be charged with destruction of property by means of fire. That can be around 20 years. But an additional charge, they say, could be added for those who were killed. And if convicted of those, life in prison. Insane.
Trigger warning, if you see this footage of a 12 and 13-year-old girl subway surfing, stop watching now, as what you'll see can never be unseen, and many are left seeing red behind their eyes. People were terrified after 12 and 13-year-olds Zema and Ebba were both found completely lifeless on the top of a subway car in Brooklyn, New York. These cases are not slowing down at all. Haunting reports from Zema's post shows videos of her walking on thin beams above trains and even laying on train tracks so that the trains pass over her. And over 1,800 of these videos from teens all over New York have been removed from social media in just the first half of 2025. The horrifying video shows many teens completely losing their life, with their screams being heard in people's nightmares, leaving many warning that they wish they never saw these videos and just stayed curious. Police are now implementing drones to catch subway surfing before it happens, and has saved over 200 people already.
With NYC Transit President Demetrius Critchlow bluntly stating, "Getting on top of a subway car isn't surfing, it's right."
In June of 2021, she spoke out about this
There's that game, Subway Surfers, through.
entire thing for the first time, saying, quote, "I think they've done a good job at exploiting my life in the way that they've done my life, so I feel like it should be an open court hearing and they should hear what I have to say. I'm telling you this again 2 years later after I've lied and told the whole world that I'm okay and that I'm happy. It's a lie. I'm not happy. I can't sleep. I'm so angry. It's insane, and I'm depressed. I cry every day, and the reason I'm telling you this is because I don't think how the state of California can have all of this written in the court documents from the time that I showed up and do absolutely nothing. It's embarrassing and demoralizing what I've been through, and that's the main reason I've never said it openly. I honestly didn't think anyone would believe me," end quote. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, so let's just get straight into it. Britney Spears, she was born in 1981. She was born in Mississippi, but she was raised in Louisiana. She's the middle child. She has an older brother named Brian and a little sister named Jamie, and if you didn't know, Jamie is one of the main cast members in Zoe 101. I'm sure you know. Britney was religious as a child, and later on in her adult life, she considered herself to be Catholic, but then in 2022, after everything regarding her father and the entire situation came out, she said, quote, "I don't believe in God anymore because of the way my children and my family have treated me. There is nothing to believe in anymore," end quote. Ever since she was a little girl, Britney had so much passion and drive within her. I think as young as 4 years old, she began taking dance lessons. She also loved to sing and participate in talent shows. She also liked gymnastics and basketball. She was a very creative, passionate little girl, and she felt like she knew what she was supposed to do with her life from a very young age. When she was 8 years old, she auditioned to be in the Mickey Mouse Club, but that did not end up working out because the director thought that she was way too young, but that definitely did help open up some doors for her. Fast forward to December of 1992, and Britney made it to the all-new Mickey Mouse Club. At this point in her life, at a very, very young age, Britney had already scored different professional jobs in acting, doing what she loved, doing what she was good at, but her being so young, when people started to know her name, also came with its downfalls, which that sucks. Sucks so bad when something so good and so exciting can get to feel negative because of the public criticism and unrealistic expectations the world has. In 1997, Britney's mom, Lynn, talked to a family friend who also happened to be an entertainment lawyer and asked for his opinion regarding Britney's career. With his advice, Britney recorded a demo to send to that family friend so that he could then send it to record labels to pitch her to sign with them. She ended up meeting with 4 record labels. She was denied by 3, but there was one that saw the potential that she had. And in 1998, at only 15 years old, Britney signed a deal with a record company. That was huge for her. She was so excited that all of her dreams were coming true, but that was overshadowed when she also realized that the media's attention on her was also growing. And they seemed to be focused on all of the wrong things. They weren't so much asking her about herself, about her wins, her successes, but more so asking about her looks and her outfits and her body. It was weird, and we all know how gross media can be. In January of 1999, just the following year after signing with the record label, her debut album, Baby One More Time, was released. And Britney had always backed herself. She had always believed in herself, but not in a million years could she have predicted just how successful this album got to be. The album topped the charts in 15 different countries. It ended up selling over 10 million copies within the first year. It then sold over 30 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling albums in history. And the most successful debut album ever released by any artist. Wait, am I saying that word wrong? Debut? No way that's how you say it, but you don't, I don't know, whatever, her first album. It also became the biggest selling album ever by any teenage artist. She earned 2 Grammy Award nominations for New Artist in Female Pop Vocal Performance, and the following year in 2000 came Oops, I Did It Again. That album debuted at #1 in the US. It also sold over 1 million units within the first week. It broke the record for the highest debut sales by any solo artist, and it also earned her 2 more Grammy nominations.
Was Michael Rockefeller eaten, or did he simply disappear? This is one of America's most mysterious disappearances. Rare archival footage documents what happened. In 1961, 23-year-old Michael Rockefeller, heir to a billionaire family, joined an anthropological expedition to New Guinea to study indigenous tribal cultures. On November 17, he and his companion Renee Singh rented a catamaran to collect as mat tribal wood carvings. During the trip, a large wave flooded the engine, causing it to stall. Then the boat capsized. Singh was eventually rescued, but Michael drifted toward the vast jungle and vanished without a trace. Search teams combed the rivers of the Rock region. Helicopters, canoes, hundreds of soldiers, and local people joined the effort. They only found the gasoline cans Michael had tied around his waist. According to his companion, Michael had decided to swim to the shore to seek help, but met with misfortune. Later, Michael's father Nelson Rockefeller and his twin sister Mary flew to New Guinea to assist in the search, but found nothing. In the footage, his father looks solemn as he thanks those at the scene.
Express my very sincere appreciation, and on behalf of Michael's twin sister, her appreciation for what Mr. Johnson, the district commissioner, and the patrol officers here in this whole area have been doing in connection with the search.
The search went on for weeks with no result. Officials finally declared that Michael Rockefeller drowned in the river, but there was no evidence to prove that conclusion. Another theory said Michael made it to shore safely, but was killed and eaten by a cannibal group within the Asmat tribe led by a man named O.T.S. J.M.P. Years later, new rumors emerged. Some said he might have been mistaken for an enemy and attacked by a local tribe. Others claimed he chose to stay and became a member of the tribe. To this day, those jungles still hold secrets that have not been uncovered.
What was captured flying over Mexico? An alleged meteorite was seen.
Oh, well, that's the end of it, and hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope I did it well enough to where it's not going to be age restricted. If you did get this far, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe so we can get these numbers going back up. And I will talk to you all again tomorrow.